Good morning, America. Spring snowstorm. As much as half a foot expected to hammer part of the east. Schools closed in Boston. More than a dozen states facing freeze warnings. The severe weather causing this massive water spout and plunging temperatures as far south as Florida.
ABC News exclusive. David Muir goes one-on-one with President Obama. His history-making trip to Cuba this morning. The first U.S. president on the island in nearly 90 years.
Change is going to happen here, and I think that Raul Castro understands that.
The president preparing for a meeting with Cuba's leader as human rights protesters hit the streets.
Donald Trump announces he will beef up security after more violent incidents at his rallies over the weekend. One supporter slugs a protester, stomping him to the ground. Trump puts blame on what he calls professional agitators on the eve of another big vote.
The tennis tournament CEO taking aim at the world's best female athletes, saying they owe it all to the men.
They ride on the coattails of the men. They don't make any decision, and they're lucky. They're very, very lucky.
Now Serena Williams slamming back.
Live in Times Square, this is Good Morning America.
And good morning, America. Welcome to spring. Welcome back to Sam Champion.
Hi, representing spring. I'm Sam. I realize spring has a lot to apologize for, so we'll get to that later.
Thank you. Day of history in Cuba. President Obama is there right now. He's going to meet with Cuban leader Raul Castro today. They got a little bit of a downpour last night. Cuba's so abuzz over this visit. Look at that low landing for Air Force One. People gathering in the streets of Havana to see the president land.
Looking up and seeing that, and President Obama sending this tweet as soon as he landed. Translated, that means, "What's up, Cuba?" And that he's looking forward to meeting and hearing directly from the Cuban people. And we're going to have David Muir's exclusive interview with President Obama coming up.
That's right, but we're going to begin with that nasty spring storm. More than a dozen states facing freezing temperatures. As far south as Florida, snow is falling from New Jersey to Maine. ABC's Rob Marciano is in Boston now, where many are facing a messy commute. Good morning, Rob.
Good morning, George, and welcome to spring. How about this? After a relatively mild winter compared to last year, the first day of spring has a snowstorm covering Boston. This is the Mass Turnpike just outside of the city where traffic is moving slow. The roads, for the most part, the big ones, are pretty slushy. They got over 3,000 crews, or nearly 3,000 crews, that are battling this snowstorm with salt and plows. We got several inches, obviously, on the grassy surfaces. Schools are closed for an extended weekend. This is pretty sticky snow, good for snowball fights, but the problem with this is that it's a wet snow, so it'll weigh down some of the tree limbs, and we could see some power outages because of it. A very, very difficult start to the work week and a start to spring, for that matter. And Red Sox, by the way, their home opener, George, just 3 weeks away, so it certainly doesn't feel like spring here in eastern Massachusetts.
Let's hope it melts by then. Okay, Rob, thanks very much. Sam's out of Military Island right now, tracking the latest on the storm. Hey, Sam.
Hey, good news, George, is it's almost over for everybody. By 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, all that snow moves out, and it really just clipped the East Coast. So let's show you where the winter storm watches and warnings are out right now. There is a lot of cold air, though, that's going to drop through the nation. We got a lot to talk about. So let's show you where the snow goes first. By 10 a.m., it's really out toward the end of the Cape, then moving toward the coast of Maine. This thing is gone by lunchtime, and guess what? It's drier, milder air. So wherever you have snow right now, and even Boston, where that accumulation will be a little heavier, 43 degrees means gone. But look at the cold air down into the deep south. Morning Dallas, morning Mobile, even deep south like Pensacola and Orlando. We've got some cold temperatures, not just today, but tomorrow morning. Then we'll take care of it ourselves. Remember, frosty morning in a lot of the south this morning. George, Robin.
All right. Okay, Sam. I'm sorry.
He made a quick dash out there to Military Island. Now to that other big headline this morning. President Obama making history, becoming the first U.S. president in nearly 90 years to step foot on Cuban soil. He'll meet with Raul Castro later this morning as the country faces protests over human rights. Dozens arrested just hours before President Obama landed on Sunday. And he spoke exclusively with World News Tonight anchor David Muir, who's there in Havana right now for us. Good morning, David.
Good morning, Robin. History made here in Cuba. Not since Calvin Coolidge has a U.S. president visited Cuba. But as you point out, this visit does not come without controversy. A little more than a year ago, I asked the president, would he be visiting Cuba? He said, let's wait and see. But shortly after landing right here in Havana, he explained to me why the time is right. The president and first lady and their daughters coming off Air Force One in Havana, Cuba. For decades, an image unimaginable. And just a short time after touching down, our interview with the president. Mr. President, we're meeting Cuba.
How about that?
How about that? You know, As you're well aware, when we spoke last time, a little more than a year ago, I asked if you'd be visiting Cuba before the end of your presidency. And you said, let's see how things evolve.
Right.
So why now?
The time is right. Obviously, our intention has always been to get a ball rolling, knowing that change wasn't going to happen overnight. But what we have already seen is the reopening of the embassy. And although we still have significant differences around human rights and individual liberties inside of Cuba, we felt that coming now would maximize our ability to prompt more change.
But you've often said when you visit countries around the world that they put a fresh coat of paint up, they spruce the place up.
Absolutely.
Is there any concern that Cuba is doing that here? What are you looking for proof that there's been progress?
I think that there's no doubt that the Cuban government is still a one-party state that is exerting control and is stifling dissent.
But the president argues he's already seen Cuban entrepreneurs blossom. You hear from a lot of American businesses, though, who say if we don't lift this embargo, other countries are going to get in there and get the deals.
Well, there's no doubt that we still have some work to do, and part of that is bringing an end to the embargo that isn't currently in place.
Does that happen during your presidency?
It may not happen between now and then, particularly since we're in an election year, but it is inevitable.
When you look out across Savannah, you see the young people all gathered on street corners to borrow the Wi-Fi. I mean, fewer than 5% of the homes here in Cuba have access to the internet.
Right. Well, that's part of why some of these changes can be so significant. And one of the things that we'll be announcing here is that Google has a deal to start setting up more Wi-Fi access and broadband access on the island.
How quickly, though, does that change a country? When you go from 5% internet access in people's homes to suddenly having access to the World Wide Web?
Well, you know, change is going to happen here. And I think that Raul Castro understands that.
The president telling us change is going to happen here, and he'll be meeting with President Raul Castro a little later today in a private meeting. He says he'll be very open with him about his critique of human rights, saying it needs to get better here, and the freedoms of ordinary Cubans. And Robin will sit down with the president again right after that meeting.
We're looking forward to that. But you referred to him meeting with Raul Castro later today. He did not greet the Cuban president, did not greet President Obama at the airport, and many critics are making note of that, David.
Making headlines around the world, in fact, Robin, not waiting there on the tarmac. But a lot of people point to Raul Castro as a leader who's trying to keep a firm grip on this island nation here. And a lot of the people here that we've talked to say they still believe in their Castro, while inviting President Obama and the first family with open arms. It's a delicate dance, and we'll hear about what happens inside that meeting room a little later today.
Delicate indeed. David, thank you so much, and we're going to have more of your exclusive interview in our next hour and, of course, on World News tonight. Thanks, David. And, George, you'll be anchoring special coverage later this morning.
Right around 11 a.m. That's right, Rob. We're going to get the race for the White House now, and another weekend of protests and violence at rallies for Donald Trump. I pressed Trump to condemn violence by his supporters yesterday, and he put much of the blame back on the protesters. All this ahead of major policy speeches by the top candidates in Washington today and votes in key states tomorrow. ABC's Tom Yamas here with the latest. Good morning, Tom.
George, good morning to you. Donald Trump and the other GOP candidates head to D.C. today to address AIPAC, the powerful lobbying organization for Israel. Trump also expected to meet with some Republican leaders before his address as he tries to improve relations with GOP power brokers.
This morning, Donald Trump's campaign changing the way they handle scenes like this. Violent outbursts at campaign rallies. Over the weekend in Tucson, a protester punched and stomped as he was let out by security.
This was an African-American man and a family that were there to listen to me speak. They couldn't hear me speak because of the commotion that was being made by a very few people.
Trump telling George on This Week the protesters are not innocent lambs.
At what point do people blame the protesters? These are people that are
So you're blaming the protesters, not the person who actually punched and kicked the protester?
No, I'm saying this. These are professional agitators, and they should be blamed there, too.
This weekend, Trump's campaign manager, Corey Lewandowski, the man in the gray suit, was caught on tape grabbing a protester by the collar. Trump defending his top aide.
I give him credit for having spirit. He wanted them to take down those horrible profanity-laced signs.
This is the second time Lewandowski has been accused of getting physical at a rally. Trump's campaign saying they will now be dedicating additional security resources to larger events in the future to prevent staff from having to intervene.
So Donald, stand by me.
Overnight, Trump hosting Palm Beach Republicans at his Mar-a-Lago resort, including Dr. Ben Carson. But Trump's rivals, Senator Ted Cruz and Governor John Kasich, showing no signs of giving up.
I have the experience and the record to lead this country.
Trump also fighting another war, this time against Fox News' Megyn Kelly. Over the weekend, going on a Twitter tirade, calling her overrated, crazy, and sick. Fox News firing back, defending Kelly, saying Trump's extreme sick obsession with her is beneath the dignity of a presidential candidate.
And both Trump and Senator Cruz addressed the president's trip to Cuba. Trump saying Obama's trip was, quote, amateur hour because Cuban leader Raul Castro did not even greet him at the airport, and Cruz saying he'd only visit a free Cuba. George.
Okay, Tom, thanks very much. Let's talk about this now with Matt Dowd down in Austin, Texas this morning, our political analyst. Now, let's talk about the votes tomorrow. Arizona and Utah, the big votes for the Republicans. Donald Trump favored in Arizona. Utah becoming must-win for Ted Cruz.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what Ted Cruz really wants in the course of this, he wants more than 50%, because if he gets more than 50%, George, he wins all the delegates. And I think that's what the interesting dynamic going on here. It's like a high-stakes risk board where they're moving armies around and having alliances in some places and fighting each other in other places. And I think John Kasich and Donald Trump's strategy in Utah is to keep Ted Cruz under 50% so he can't get all the delegates. But that's the dynamic that's going on in this race right now.
Meantime, you've got a dynamic going on inside the Republican Party. New York Times reporting yesterday about a 100-day plan by anti-Trump agitators who want to stop him from getting the 1,237 delegates he needs before the convention. But time is running short.
Well, I think, George, you and I have seen over the course of this last year, the Republican Party and Republican establishment has had various plans. I don't know if we're on Plan D now in the course of this, is how to stop Donald Trump in this. I think right now Donald Trump looks to be, if things proceed, have the odds on to win the number of delegates right now. Now, obviously, a lot depends on tomorrow night. And I think you're right. Time is running out for the Republican Party in this. Tomorrow night's a good indication of what's going to happen in this race, but they're going to have a hard time stopping him before the convention.
Yeah, and the key vote, April 5th, Wisconsin, that state will become a must-win for the anti-Trump forces if they're going to have any hope.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, Matt Dowd, thanks very much.
All right there, George. Now to chilling new information about the Paris terror attack suspect. In custody this morning in Belgium, officials say there may have been new attacks in the works, and he had the people and the weapons to do it. ABC's Alex Marquardt is in Brussels with the latest. Good morning, Alex.
Good morning, Robin. This morning, Belgian authorities are worried that the arrest of Salah Abdeslam could activate other terrorist cells, according to a senior security minister. They believe he was planning more attacks with the help of a support network that is bigger than they originally thought.
This morning, new video of the dramatic raid that captured Salah Abdeslam. Heavily armed SWAT teams slowly approaching a house in the neighborhood of Molenbeek, when suddenly a man sprints out and tries to flee, but is shot and taken down. Then another suspect, also shot and led away. Now, Salah Abdeslam is being pressed by Belgian interrogators to reveal more about the Paris attacks and other plots in the works. He was ready to restart something in Brussels, Belgium's foreign minister said, after a large cache of weapons was found in a raid last Tuesday, and evidence of a new, broad support network right under the noses of the police.
The real key from this arrest is the opportunity to interrogate Abdeslam, find out who else he may have been working with, find out more about his ties to ISIS.
Abdeslam is frightened and weak, his lawyer has insisted to a Belgian newspaper. Already, Abdeslam has revealed he wasn't meant to be the only surviving terrorist of the November attacks. He was supposed to be among the team of suicide bombers that he drove to the Germany-France game. But he backed out, ditching his suicide vest and calling accomplices to come pick him up and take him to Belgium.
Belgian authorities tell us this morning that the arrest could either trigger a new attack or make the terrorists go to ground and wait for the pressure to ease up. The alert level here in Belgium hasn't been raised yet, but European officials believe that the likelihood of new attacks is very high. Robin?
Something to keep in mind, Alex. Thank you. Now to Amy with the morning's other top headlines, starting with breaking news out of North Korea.
That's right, Robin. North Korea fired off another 5 missiles overnight, all landing at sea. And this morning's launches come as the U.S. and South Korea hold their largest ever joint military exercises. North Korea says those drills are rehearsal for an invasion. Well, the Pentagon is sending several hundred Marines to Iraq in the battle against ISIS. They are headed to a base that came under attack by ISIS over the weekend, killing a Marine from Southern California. Experts from the U.S. are helping Russia as it investigates this weekend's horrific plane crash. All 62 people aboard the Fly Dubai Boeing 737 were killed when it nosedived into the ground at an airport during strong winds. It nearly disintegrated on impact. And overnight, Russian investigators said they're having trouble reading the data from those damaged black boxes. Well, this is 20,000 pounds of illegal fireworks going up in smoke after being seized by ATF agents. A court ordered they must all be destroyed. And finally, Washington's other first family has welcomed a new baby. Bald eagle parents named Mr. President and the First Lady had a lot to chirp about. The second of their baby eaglets came out of its shell, the first hatching on Friday. They will likely be named by public vote. Right now, their names are DC2 and DC3. Not so great.
You can do better than that.
A lot of people out want Malia and Sasha, which makes a lot of sense.
That's cute.
Yeah,
That's adorable.
I think they wouldn't mind that.
Not at all. Thanks, Amy. We're going to move on to some outrage in the tennis world this morning after startling comments from the director of the BNP Paribas Open. He says the pro tennis is all about the men. They carry the sport, and that's drawing fire from stars like Serena Williams. ABC's Lindsay Davis has the story.
It's one of the most popular tennis tournaments in the world. But this morning, Raymond Moore, the man in charge of the BNP Paribas Open at Indian Wells in California, is causing an uproar over his comments about female tennis players.
You know, if in my next life when I come back, I want to be someone in the WTA because they ride on the coattails of the men. They don't make any decision, then they're lucky. If I was a lady player, I'd go down every night on my knees and thank God that a Roger Federer and a Rafa Nadal were born because they've carried the sport.
Serena Williams, who won the event twice and was this year's runner-up, responded immediately.
There's only one way to interpret that. Get on your knees, which is offensive as enough, and thank a man, which is not. We as women have come a long way, and we shouldn't have to drop to our knees at any point, though I feel like, you know, that is such a disservice to her and every female, not only a female athlete, but every woman on this planet.
Raymond Moore has issued an apology for his comments, saying they were in extremely poor taste and erroneous, but it is unlikely any of the female players on the tour will forget these comments.
Anybody ever
Yes, that's right. Or any female, period, right.
Yeah. Oh, and does he know that at the U.S. Open this past year, the women's singles final sold out before the men's?
Yeah.
He does now.
Yeah. Maybe want to know that.
Unbelievable. Thank you, Lindsay. Let's go back to Sam.
Hey, yeah, spring has a doctor's note. It would like to show it to you. It's going to be a little late on the eastern seaboard, but fully on the west, we've already got that air. It takes a little time to move across. Give us 2 days, and this milder air of spring gets all the way to the eastern seaboard. Check out these numbers. New York by Wednesday, you're 69 degrees. D.C., 73 by Wednesday. Your selected cities are brought to you by Macy's, but that's the weather around the nation. Here's what you can expect this morning.
It's Macy's One Day Sale Wednesday with a Preview Day Tuesday with amazing deals of the day store-wide. Take 45 to 60% off select fine jewelry. Take 50% plus an extra 20% off men's designer suit separates. All down and down alternative pillows now 60% off. Take an extra 30% off clearance designer handbags. And get clearance sportswear for her and him now 65 to 75% off. Macy's One Day Sale Wednesday with a Preview Day Tuesday. Don't miss it.
Good Monday morning. Meteorologist Amy Freeze here with the AccuWeather forecast. It's currently 32 degrees, so very cold outside. Few flurries are lingering in and around the area, but the wind chills and the feels-like temperature is very cold. Just 23 is what we're reading right now between the thermometer and the wind. So be ready for a chilly start to the day. Already some dry air working its way north and west, so we're expecting sun through the afternoon, a mix of sun and clouds through the late afternoon, and a high today of 49 degrees. So enjoy the cold this morning because warmer weather is on the way.
We and I are still fuming from the previous story. Coming up, lucky to be alive. The quick thinking